Okay, the next drawing here that you guys are going to do is drawing 2 on your sheet that you have. The last video was drawing 1. Um, to set up the drawing is going to be very similar to drawing 1. What will change is when we get about halfway through, there are some different numbers there. So in the different shapes, so obviously that's a little different, but a lot of the principles that we just talked about in the last drawing are the same, such as offsetting and tracing over the line, switching the layers, turning off the construction layer, so forth. So to go ahead and get started, so again, you go back to your template and you double click on it. It'll pop up a new drawing for you. Okay, so some of these things will pop up, just close them out. Alright, so again, as you can see, we always just want to double check just to make sure. I think these are still 0 layer lines, so make sure you select them both. Either click on both of them or you can drag across and select them. So make sure we change those to construction lines. Okay, I just escaped a couple times just to get out of that. So let's go ahead and get started here. Let's offset. Again, it's asking for the distance. This one's the same as last drawing. It's 5 inches over. So we go ahead and hit 5, type that in, and then we hit enter on the keyboard. And again, we select the vertical line here because we go over from left to right. And we're going to make sure we're over to the right here. Once it's in place, you can see it's at 5 inches. We'll go ahead and click to place it. Okay. Then we'll go ahead, select offset again. This time we're going to do the height. So this time the height's at 2.5, so 2.5 we type in, hit enter, and then we're going to select the lower line here and bring it up. So we're going from the bottom up, 2.5 inches for the height. And kind of again, like we talked about on the last one, we need to put that border in here. So let's go ahead and select offset. We're going to type in 0.5, hit enter. And we're going to select the last vertical line we made and go over to the right, click and place it, and we're going to select the last horizontal line we made, that's at the top here, and we're going to click that and go up. Okay, so again, that's important because that spaces our drawing. Now we have a whole area here for the side view, and then we've given it a space to separate from the top view, which is going to go here, and then the front view, which is going to go here. Alright, so now what we need to do is put the width in for the top and the front view. And remember, I talked about that on the last drawing, they're 1.5 inches wide. So we type in 1.5, we hit enter, and we select the vertical line right here, and we go out to the right. 1.5, then we come back here, select this top horizontal line here, we click on that, and we go up 1.5. Okay. So again, this is exactly what you guys did on the last drawing, but again, it's going to change from this point going forward. Okay, every drawing you do will start like what we just did here. So what we're going to do is we need to add in some different numbers. So the first one that we see there is that if the side view is split down the middle. So if it's 5 inches long, we know that, hey, it's 2.5, so it splits it down the middle. So we type 2.5 in, we hit enter. And we're going to come back here and select this vertical line, and you can come over to the right. You'll notice, hey, it splits the side view and the top view down the middle. So when you put lines in, you'll notice, hey, even though I put a line in to kind of help me here, it also helps me here on the top view. Okay, and then the next offset we need to put in is that it shows 3/4 right here is where it splits. So what we need to do is put a 3/4 inch line there to show the split. So we're going to split the front view here down the middle at 3/4, right? Because again, if we add 3/4 plus 3/4, that equals 1.5. So we know that that line is going to go right down the middle. So let's go ahead and click offset. Type in 0.75. So the decimal version of 3/4. Again, if you have 75 cents in your hand, or if I give you 3/4, that gives you 75 cents. So we type in 0.75, enter, and it doesn't really matter whether you go from this line or this line. Just make sure that that is centered down the middle. Okay. Now here's where you could get a little confused, so I want to make sure I clarify this. Is that when you do any vertical lines to the front view here like this, or if you do any horizontal lines along the top view, that same distance has to be replicated on the front view or the top view. Okay, and I'll explain here in a little bit more in detail. So if I did 3/4 right here down the middle, I have to do 3/4 right here. Okay, and that 3/4 dimension is actually not on your sheet. Okay, it's something you're going to need to learn. I'm going to show you guys a little trick here to kind of help you. So if you get confused later, you'll notice this little box up here in the right hand corner. Okay, if you actually just draw another construction layer line right here, you'll notice that's a 45. So that 3/4 line I made up here, where anything that hits this 45-degree angle line right here, hits it, it's got to go left. Okay, so that's a good rule of thumb to kind of keep in mind as you're doing drawings down the road. So again, if that dimension would have been up here, if it was at 3/4 up here as opposed to down here, I would have did 3/4 here, but I also would have had to remember to do it down here. Okay. All right. So what we're going to do next is we've done all of our drawings, all of the dimensions to this point. So we're going to go ahead and start tracing. And you'll notice that we want to fill in the shaded region on the we're completing the top view this time. So let's go ahead and change the layer to object layer. Go ahead and select line. And let's go ahead and start with the side view since that one's given. So I just click here. Again, I'm not clicking and dragging and holding it down. I'm just clicking. I'm moving the cursor and I'm clicking to each corner. So I click here, here, and then I right click. And again, the shortcut is I can right click and it'll put my last command there. And I can do this line. Right click, enter, right click, repeat line. I'm just kind of repeating the same process here. Okay, so those two drawings were given to me. Okay, I already can see those on the sheet. So the part that you need to complete is along the top there. And as you can see, looking at the sheet, it's going to follow this pattern here. So I'm going to come down and I'm going to stop right here because that's where I put the offset in earlier. So then I'm going to go up. Then I'm going to come back over because I know it is 5 inches long. It's just missing a section out of it. And we're going to show you guys, I'm going to show you that here in just a second. So we're going to turn off the construction layer. So remember, I go back up to the layers, turn off the construction layer. Okay. Notice how it gets rid of lines. So this is what your drawing 2 should look like. Okay. And you'll notice if you see this shape, if you're looking on the sheet, you'll see the shaded region on the 3D shape there, and the top view there matches what you see in the shaded part. All right, so let's go ahead and put the drawing and the date in. So change it back over to the 0 layer. We get a multi-line text. We click the top corner. Again, you're not clicking and holding down, dragging. You're just clicking, moving the cursor down, and you click again. And we change justification to middle center, and then all caps locks. We type in drawing 2, close text, and we do another multi-line text. We click the corners, justification, middle center, and we type the date in. And we hit close text. Okay. Let's not forget to save. So again, you should have a folder set up in your somewhere to save all your drawings. So you hit save as again. We don't hit save because remember, if we hit save, it's going to copy over your template. So we hit drawing. And let's go ahead and remember, put that in your Z drive somewhere. Drawing 2, go ahead and hit save. Then again, you need to export the drawing into a PDF. And again, I just put these on the desktop. Go ahead and hit save. Once that saves, we can close this all out, and you'll see here it shows the drawing, and it's just one last look you can take to make sure, hey, that it came out correctly. Okay. And then here's your drawing 2, and then you'll have that to turn in.